Welcome to Dicta, your weekly dose of law school and bar exam info. I'm Carrie Ann.
And I'm Puyan, and we're the co-founders of Vinco. So today we're going to be discussing whether you should go to law school. The answer is no, you shouldn't go to law school.
All right, that's it. See you next week. But seriously? Should they go to law school?
Okay, so we're going to be discussing a few of the factors because you're probably thinking about going to law school. So the first factor that we're going to consider is, what does a lawyer actually do? Carrie Ann?
You're the real lawyer here, but I guess I can take this one. So you want to consider what your life will be like after law school. So we're going to kind of go in reverse here. And then we'll get to some considerations to think of during your law school experience. But you want to think about whether you're the kind of person who can handle a lot of stress or wishes to have a lot of stress in your life. In my short experience practicing law, I found it to be very stressful. Would you agree with that situation?
Exactly. Yes, I would. So before law school, I thought I could handle stress. I've had some jobs where I've had a lot of responsibilities, and I thought I was experiencing stress. I was wrong, because people's lives were not in my hands. So right now I'm an immigration lawyer, and I regularly deal with really stressful situations where the outcome of my performance will drastically influence a person or entire family's lives. And it's not just immigration law. Many fields of law will place upon you that type of responsibility.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's not just... certain areas of law are obviously higher than others, right? Immediately you can think of something like the criminal justice system on either side, really, whether you're a prosecutor or a defense attorney. Immigration attorneys.
Personal injury.
Right. A lot, you could be playing with someone's life or their money. Yeah. So either way, you have stress, you have pressure, you have demands that aren't present as present in other careers, right?
Right. Yes.
So whether you're a person who, I kind of thrive on stress, that was a lot of stress for me, but I kind of knew that I wanted a high stakes career, and law definitely lends itself to that. And with that, they kind of go hand in hand, is just a lot of responsibility. Do you want to be responsible personally and ethically speaking for other people?
Right, exactly. And you become better at dealing with it over time. So don't place too much emphasis on this, but it's definitely a serious consideration. And I've met some people that don't like the stress, and as a result, they don't like being a lawyer. I think another thing that should really be considered is whether you enjoy reading and writing, as simple as that sounds. I mean, a lot of people don't realize how much reading and writing they actually have to do on a daily basis as an attorney. They've hired attorneys.
And as a law student.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So honestly, you're probably doing way more of it as a law student, and it's really stressful. People see their lawyer walk into court, say some stuff, walk out, and they're like, "Hey, that looks easy. We just paid him a lot of money to do that," but they don't realize all the work that the attorney did before that court appearance.
Yeah, they're definitely... You could spend 3 days researching something all day, every day, to come up with a well-crafted paragraph that you'll cite in court, if that, maybe just a couple of sentences. So you really have to consider how much you enjoy that kind of work, the researching, the reading, and the writing. And in law school, you certainly do a lot of reading. Slightly less writing. That's more in the exam format, which is a little shorter, but... even in, non-traditional law jobs, there tends to be a lot of reading and writing.
Absolutely.
I sort of have a less traditional law job working with students, and I read and write every single day. So if you don't enjoy that activity, this is going to be a very tedious experience. It'll be a long 3 years of law school for you, and a long life of having that kind of career.
Exactly. So let's say you decide that you're okay with dealing with the stress, and you enjoy reading and writing, or at the very least are comfortable doing it for a good portion of your career. The next major consideration I think you should take into account for is the cost. So this is not just the cost of law school. It's also the lost opportunity cost while you're attending law school. So let's say, for example, you would have been making $50,000 a year before law school. That's 3 years of lost income, assuming you're a full-time student and you don't work, on top of the cost of tuition, which could be $50,000 a year. So when all is said and done, after 3 years of law school, there could be a $300,000 difference between where you would have been had you not gone to law school and where you actually are.
Okay, that was a fancy way of saying law school's expensive and you should consider that before applying. And I think that that's something that neither one of us really gave enough thought to before law school. And we have a whole other video on our student loan issues. But for now, suffice it to say, we wish we had thought about the cost and made a plan for the cost before we applied. I sort of decided, I don't know what I'm going to do when I graduate. I'm going to apply to law school. And I got in, and then all of a sudden I was a law student. I kind of wish I had taken a step back and thought about some of these things, because I think it would have helped me mentally prepare for law school a little bit better. And I think really the last thing to consider that I also didn't consider was the time commitment of being a law student. I mean, did you have a lot of free time in law school?
No, I didn't. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of time. You really have to be prepared for it. And I couldn't imagine having like a full-time job simultaneously. Even if I was just a part-time student, I still, for me, probably would not have been able to handle it. With that said, I know many of people who have successfully handled it. That's just me.
Yeah, I mean, it is a lot. I worked part-time when I was in law school, as much as I was allowed to, and it was a lot to balance. And I think if I had thought about making a plan for that ahead of time, I might not have had to work part-time. I might have been able to save a little beforehand, understood the level of intensity I was about to get myself into, and really just had more knowledge about the situation. So I think pretty much what we're saying is just consider some of these factors, make yourself a pro-con list, and make a list of these factors: the time commitment, the financial commitment, levels of stress, levels of responsibility, right, and think about how important each of these areas is to you and make a game plan for that.
Definitely. All right, so I think that's it for today.
I'd say so.
If you have any questions or comments, feel free to log on to our Facebook group or send an email to Carrie Ann at vincoprep.com.
See you next week.